welcome to Rebels in Review. Today we're going to be discussing Season 2, Episode 16, Shroud of Darkness. Before we go on, this is going to be filled with spoilers, so if you haven't seen the episode yet, watch it on the app, watch it tonight, or watch it whenever it is right now. With that said, wow. Absolutely, by far the best episode of Rebels. Amazing that this was 22 minutes long, because it feels like they shoved so much information in there. What do you think?
I loved the episode. I absolutely loved it. We got to see more of the characters that I feel like we've been missing. We got to see both Inquisitors, which I think I'm in the majority. I love Seventh Sister. She's got so much character.
I don't think anybody likes Frith.
He's just the brute.
I don't know, he made one comment today. He said like one line, and I was just like, shook my head. He's like, he's just the dumb brute, Sith, not Sith, but dark side user. Anyway.
Plus, she's got the parrot droids, and they're kind of adorable.
Yeah, especially when they're trying to suck the brains out of people. Well, it's kind of the impression I got. He said, go for the brain. I prefer brains, and also the parrot droids stuck to his head. Anyway, this is probably going to be a bit of a long one because we have a lot of things to discuss. Now, if you're one of the few people who listens to us weekly, we didn't do one last week. Just didn't have the chance to do it. A quick recap on the honorable ones. It was a lot like Enemy Mine, that old movie from 30 years ago, and I know a lot of people have said that about it, where Zeb and Agent Callus get stranded on a planet, and they end up helping each other, and they end up escaping. I thought it was okay, but I thought the last 10 seconds where we see kind of Callus really starting to think about where he is and what he's done with his life kind of made that episode great.
Oh yeah, and you see him watch Zeb get hugged and reunited with his family, crew.
Yeah.
And then he comes in and he's trying to, hey, how you doing, Admiral?
Yeah, Admiral Constantine.
And
he's like,
he gets nothing.
Yeah.
And then he walks into his very plain, empty room and sets down the rock that he kept, his memento, his memory. And you just wonder, have we seen a change in Callus?
I think we have. We can discuss that at another time in another video, because I'd love to do a more insight into the future of Rebels and such. But let's get to this episode that I think everybody's been waiting for since we saw the mid-season trailer. Let's start. I'll start with Ezra'S fighting skills, which have gone off the chart. In season 1 we saw him trying to deflect garbage tossed at him by and just failing miserably. And then even earlier in this season he couldn't hold his own against an Inquisitor. Now him and Kanan are flinging each other around, and he's Seventh Sister, Fifth Brother. It didn't matter. He was taking them both on.
I think part of it, and I love that they threw it in there, was the holocron. He said that he was studying the holocron.
Yeah, you're right. He's been studying Anakin, which is ironic since we're getting hinted at him going dark side.
Yes, it was lovely to finally give a nod to, well, not only is Kanan obviously still training him, but he's trying to, independent study here. So we can see why he's increasing in his abilities.
And speaking of, I like that I think it was Ahsoka that said Kanan, or was it Ezra that says Kanan talks about how Anakin was the best. It's good to finally have Kanan acknowledge that he knows who Anakin is, even though, obviously he would know, but it was nice that he acknowledges Anakin is one of the greatest, or if not the greatest Jedi during the Clone Wars, which will, I'm sure, come into play when he learns who Vader really is down the road some point.
Yeah, he just doesn't have that strong connection.
No. All right, let's move on to...
Am I tracking?
Sure, let's do your tracking theory.
Alright, we've been wondering for a long time how the Inquisitors are following them. Well, I have a theory. I'd like, putting it on air at least makes everyone know I put mine on before we find out. Fifth Brother gave his one line that her intuition, or she's following based on her feelings.
Yeah, he seemed to yield to the fact that she was the one tracking them and that he was...
But is she just saying that she's more powerful than she is? We know the two of them are competing for maybe being the next Grand Inquisitor, maybe just because they don't seem to like each other very much. But I think she's lying about her abilities to make her seem more powerful, in that the first time we see Seventh Sister and Fifth Brother on that little abandoned Clone Wars medical facility, her parrot droid attacks Chopper and viciously opens him up, and he's messing around on the inside. And we all thought that was just maybe to disable him. What if the parrot droid planted a tracker? What if that's how she's actually following them around?
Well, it makes sense because when they did find them on Lothal, they went to the spot where the ship had landed, and she looked around like, yes, they were here because
Yeah.
this is where the ship was, but they'd left. So to me, that implies like she wasn't feeling them anymore. She was, she's not following them by sense. I think she's following them by chopper because she was like, well, they've left, and she's like, well, wait a minute, there's, let's investigate more. She wasn't still feeling them there.
I think people will question, well, why doesn't then she alert them all where the rebel fleet is? Because
Yeah.
Chopper's with them too. But when Kanan and Ezra are with them, she's not leading them in there either. I think she's after when I think they're tracking them. I think when they separate from the group, that's when she knows she should go in. She's after the glory of Jedi hunting. She doesn't seem to care so much about what all the rebels are up to.
I think they're after Ezra. I think even it was hinted. I don't remember about who. Like, forgive me. We just watched the episode and I can't remember everything. I'm gonna have to watch it again. But I think it was hinted that, maybe they're after Ezra in particular because they sense that this kid can. I mean, look at how far like I said before, he's come a long way in one season or 1 year, however long the show has been, going on in real time. And maybe they sense, hey, this kid's got a strong connection to the Force. He could be another Inquisitor or whatever. You gotta. And like you said, I think she's just trying to win favor with Vader because I wonder if obviously the fifth brother and seventh sister, it's a ranking system, but can she move up? Can she be fifth sister and have him drop down to seventh brother, or is that just a generic title that you never? I mean, can you just excuse me, become Grand Inquisitor, or do you have to move up the ranks? I have no idea.
Okay, well, the temple was amazing to see again, to see them go through a different door, a door that wasn't leading to their youngling trial area.
Yeah, it's like the grown-up entrance.
Yes, they went through the grown-up door this time.
Yeah.
We got to see Kanan, fighting some
Temple guards, which were not really there. I think they were just part of a vision, or the temple's defense mechanism. I mean, because the Inquisitor saw them too, and clearly they weren't really there. Which speaking of Inquisitors, I found it fascinating that we finally had the identity of the Grand Inquisitor. He was a temple guard, and that really, makes us wonder who the rest of what happened to the rest of the temple guards. Who are the Inquisitors? Where did they come from?
See, but I don't think all the Inquisitors were temple guards. Fifth brother and seventh sister seemed surprised, almost, to see the Grand Inquisitor approaching them in the guise of a card.
Yeah.
So,
well, it makes you wonder.
Was he a one-time deal, or?
Well, we know it makes me wonder because we know the monks on Utapau. I mean, we know there were monks on Utapau. Maybe the monks became temple guards. I don't know. I'm throwing some stupid theories out there right now, but who knows? Because we know in episode 3 when Obi-Wan goes there that they're not warriors. They're monks. They're very deeply religious, if you will, people. So maybe a lot of them become temple guards.
Mm-hmm. Yes, but we did get to see Kanan pass Jedi trials.
Yeah, he's a Jedi Knight now officially, which is awesome. Even though I think Ezra's passing him up already, but
well, in terms of skill, but not maturity.
No. We saw Ezra's connection to the living force when he controlled those big flying things, whatever they were.
Air mantis.
Yeah.
Space whales, air mantis. We're moving on.
Yeah.
Ahsoka in the temple. I thought that was an amazing event. It almost seemed like she was given a trial. She was facing her fear like the younglings originally do when they go to the temples to find their kyber crystals. She overcame her fear. She came to her understanding. She understands who Anakin is. She understands, at least looks like she came to a resolution in her mind what she had to do regarding her former master. And then as she's leaving, she gets a little wave and head nod from Yoda. Is that wave and head nod, I understand what you're planning to do, and I'm giving you you have to try this is something that I believe in? Was he giving her a nod of, did she sort of reinitiate herself into the Jedi Order by passing yet another trial?
They made a big deal out of her not using the Force to open up the temple, and as if to say, I'm not a Jedi, I'm separated, and then she sees Yoda. I kind of take that as like, welcome back. Maybe not like not that there's really an official Jedi Order right now anyway, but kind of Yoda's way of saying you're still a Jedi. I still think of you as a Jedi. You're still a friend. You're still
fighting for the
yeah.
light.
You're whatever you consider yourself. I still consider yourself a Jedi, if you will. That's what I kind of took that little way for, and I thought that was really cool. And you were calling for that earlier in the episode. I hope she gets to see Yoda because that would be a cool reunion. Because obviously, if you've seen Clone, they know each other well. Obviously, like you said, with that I think Ahsoka knew in the first episode of the season, or that little special movie, the Siege of Lothal, that's when she came to the realization that Anakin and Vader are the same. But I think this was where she finally admitted it to herself, like
accepted.
Accepted it, and maybe she was just been blaming herself this whole time because that's what the vision showed her. Like, your fault. If you wouldn't have left me, I wouldn't be Vader, and that obviously changes a lot of things.
Well, the younglings did have to learn to accept and overcome their fears to earn their kyber crystals, and Ahsoka did the exact same thing.
True.
It was really healthy to see that.
All right. And speaking of Yoda, it was cool to, Frank Oz again voicing Yoda, who is the original voice, and James Earl Jones again for his brief, 10 seconds there at the end as Vader, where we finally see the Vader and the Inquisitors kind of interact. Was really cool.
I'm wondering what they're going to find in the temple.
Oh yeah, they're going to scour that thing. It's, I and then you have the whole Malachor thing, which I believe is the site of a battle a long time ago. I don't know how canon all that is. I don't remember everything. I'm one of those guys who reads everything and tries to keep up on everything.
We'll probably be looking that up after we finish this.
Probably. So, I mean, we got a couple episodes left this season. What do you think we're going to see in these last? We know we're going to get Darth Maul, or Old Master, as maybe he's on Malachor. Maybe that's where he's been hanging out.
That could be why they were sent there.
Maybe Maul. How crazy would that be if Maul is no longer, and not that I guess he would still be a Sith Lord, even though he's, technically not in the pecking order anymore with Vader and the Emperor. But maybe Maul has gone to the more neutral side.
I wouldn't say he's turned neutral or any of that. I would say the enemy is my friend.
True.
He got totally betrayed by the Emperor.
Oh yeah, more than one occasion, and
Vader replaced him.
Yeah, I mean,
he might just be angry.
Will we see a Vader Darth Maul fight? I think a lot of nerds would have a have a fun time with that one.
We might finally get the actual death of Darth Maul, despite the 2 or 3 attempts.
Sliced in half, and then we saw him in Clone Wars, and then we got Son of Dathomir. He was in there, so maybe this will finally be the end of his story.
Maybe they're sending him to find an ally.
Maybe, which is weird.
It's weird to think of Darth Maul as being on your side.
Yeah.
Alright. So overall, I loved this episode. It gave me a lot to think about.
Yeah, it was the episode we needed finally. I mean, after not that the last 5 or 6 or 7 episodes were bad, but this was amazing. This was the fastest 22 minutes of my life, because this episode.
Yeah.
Alright, so we'll wrap this up for now, and look for us to maybe do a video about our further thoughts on the season of Rebels and what Rebels will be going forward. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you want to comment or have questions or comments about what we said or whatever, tell it to Conja Club and leave some comments below.